Welcome to my store. Okay, we got a request. Person asked, what do you do when the seam on the corner of your tank splits? He had a 300-gallon tank, his seam split. This is only a 135, but its seam split too. Actually, both of them did, both ends. Okay, and along this bottom edge. Okay, that's why I got the tank for free. But then I got all the stores, all the tanks in this store are free. Various cracks, leakers. There's a nice tank. I got it full of barbs, cherry barbs, Odessa barbs, albino cherry barbs, golden barbs, stuff like that. They swim around. They're very pretty. But all these store tanks you see are from broken ones, cracks, leakers, tub that I found out in some guy's field, horse trough, blue one. Okay? So we like to use tanks till, well, they can't hold water no more. Okay, so back to the seam. Basically what you do is you take a razor blade, shave out all the old silicone on the inside, make sure the tank's empty because...
if his tank was broken, I think it would be empty.
Yeah, but it might not be empty to the bottom. You gotta tell people. Take the gravel out because you don't want to stick the gravel in underneath anything and get it in the wrong place. So you can see how there's a patch in that corner. It's actually two pieces of glass. It really doesn't matter if it's one or it's two. What you're doing is you're making a new seam. Now you try to use glass that's about the same thickness as the tank that cracked. So get them to cut it as thin as possible. The reason that's not exactly straight is that I'm not exactly the best cast cutter in the world when it gets to thicker glass. If you looked at my other video, I can cut thin glass real good. It's easy though. So anyhow, what you do is you clean up the joint. You take the new piece of glass, you get it really good and clean, wipe everything down with alcohol or acetone, then you take and you put a really, really thick bead of silicone up that whole corner. Now, if you look through that glass, you can see that there's no air bubbles in there. Because what I did was I put a great big gob there, and then you set the glass against it and shove in, and rock it back and forth, and then shove it into that edge, so that this is a nice seam, and when people look, they just see this edge here. It's a little bit wider than it was originally, but what you have did is you have in effect made another seam that is as strong as the original one, plus you got whatever holding power the original one had left. Now, if it seam split really badly, it's always a good idea to put a little patch along here and along this side too, just in case, okay? Because I patched this 3 times because I thought, one patch is going to work, but it didn't, so I had to patch it again. And then this bottom seam let go. Now, you see how this is set on styrofoam? That's to make sure that if there's an irregularity in the floor, that it kind of evens it out so that you don't have one edge of the tank higher than the other, so that you get a stress where you shear the silicone off. Now, this is one of my tanks. It's got, there's a black ghost knife. They're such a pretty fish.
They look like cows.
Yeah, a little bit like a cow. That's a twig catfish. They look like a stick. Every now and again, it's good if you pick them up, flip them over, and look at him to see if he's still awake. Because they don't move much. Okay, so that's how you fix the seam in a corner tank, so you don't have to change it into a terrarium.